on to TuneIn from the app. Download the TuneIn app, search the Daily Grind Radio Show, and listen in on App to Serve.
Tell them who you are.
So, for those who don't know, my name is Iris Mendez. I am a certified wellness coach, and I also am a local social worker, a mental health professional, if you will. And my goal is to spread awareness on all things mental and physical health.
Sounds interesting. So, what certifications, what licenses do you have possessed to give you this sort of expertise in the field?
Okay. So, as far as wellness coaching goes, I went through Spencer Institute, which is an online wellness coaching. They have various online coaching courses that you can take to get certified in health coaching, wellness coaching, health and fitness professionals. So I actually obtained that this past year. I have a bachelor's in psychology, and I have a master's in social work, and I just passed my licensure exam to be a licensed social worker in the state of Pennsylvania. Thank you.
So what else have you done this year? What is this I'm holding in my hand?
So you're holding the Find Your Will Wellness 2017 desk calendar, which has motivational photos and quotes. The quotes were specifically chosen to match the photos, and the photos were taken by myself. It's kind of just a hobby that I have. I did this last year in 2016, and I sent it out to a few of my clients as a incentive for the wellness programs or challenges that I threw. And I got really good feedback from it, so this year I decided to go ahead and do another one. And so I'll show you the first one. It says January, Failure is the Opportunity to Begin Again More Intelligently by Henry Ford. So each month is dedicated to a certain quote or belief or just a motivation in a sense. And my goal is to inspire others to just keep going, moving forward, and attempt to utilize this as something inspirational for them. So if you want to purchase one, you can go to my website at www.findyourwellwellness.com and click the wellness programs and products link, and you can purchase one.
So, if we were to have a contest right now, what would you say your wager would be? Would it be like the first person on Facebook Live, the first person to call in, the first person to email, first person to subscribe? What are we doing here?
So, for those of you who are subscribed to my wellness log, I sent out an email earlier today. The Well Log is a wellness blog letter that I send out once a month with nutritional recipes and tips and just wellness related blogs that I write every month. So if you're on my email list, if you're not, you should be, but if you're on my email list...
Well, wait. How can they get on your email list?
Just go to my website, www.findyourwellwellness.com, and the link should pop up for you to subscribe.
Okay.
If not, findyourwill@gmail.com. Send me an email, and I will forward you information on how to subscribe. So I sent out an email to my mailing list earlier today, and I said, if you call in today, what's the number? 215-909-9925. If you call in, or if you're one of the first people to comment, I see a whole bunch of comments now, so I can't even say the first people. So we'll just pick at random. And let's say the 10th person to comment. I will be mailing you a free copy of the Find Your Will Wellness 2017 desk calendar so that I can keep you accountable all year long and keep you motivated.
Actually, I'll pitch in one too. I'll buy one for someone.
Okay.
If you want me to buy one, let me know. Either through the comment section, email, through subscribing, whatever you do, let me know and I'll buy you one. She'll pay for shipping. That a deal?
Deal.
Oh, okay.
We gotta shake on it.
That's tough.
Alright.
So you
He has
mentioned...
a very, very rough handshake, by the way, for those of you who have never shaken his hand.
So you mentioned wellness a number of times. What is wellness?
So, I actually was featured on someone's, I'm not going to say who, but no. I was featured on the Opportunities to Serve blog in September, I believe, where I just kind of broke down what wellness means to me. I think that wellness is becoming a fad or a trend in a sense, in a good way. A lot of people are focusing more on their physical health, but I think that people need to focus a little bit more deeper on holistic. And when I say holistic, I actually mean W-H-O-L-E, whole, like the person as a whole, not H-O-L, holistic, but the person as a whole as it pertains to wellness, because in order for you to be 100% well, there's various categories that kind of need to be taken a look at. And I explained this in my blog entry, and thank you for featuring me, where I talked about emotional wellness, mental health wellness, environmental wellness, spiritual wellness, physical wellness, financial wellness, intellectual wellness as it pertains to self-education and self-development. So wellness encompasses all of that, and I think that in order for someone to be successful in becoming the person that they want to be, or finding their passion, or digging deep and just making a change, all of those things need to be taken into account in order for there to be a success, because they all kind of domino effect into one another.
So what's the job of the wellness coach, and what is the job of the wellness participant who's hiring the coach? What's the difference? What do they have to do? Who holds who accountable? What's the relationship like?
So as a wellness coach, for me, I take my job with my clients very seriously. A lot of those relationships are not just professional client in a sense. They actually become lifelong friendships, where even though I may not be providing a certain service to you at the time or thereafter, or you may have already participated in one or maybe more of my programs. You know that I'm still there, and I'm still rooting for you and supporting you in all of your changes as it pertains to wellness, whether that's in physical health, in mental health, or in anything. As a coach, specifically speaking, my job is to pretty much hold you accountable, keep you motivated, and really meet you where you are. I think that a lot of times people think of, you go online and there's so many, I'm a health coach, I'm a wellness coach, I'm this, I'm that. For me, I take it very seriously when clients sign up with me, because I personally know that experience, and I don't think that I necessarily had any one person kind of guiding me through it all. And so as a client, I think that your job is to pretty much just understand that you're signing up for something, and I will keep you accountable for everything that you say that you want to do or you're going to do. And so that's pretty much your job, is just to show up and show out. Like that's how I feel. And so at the end of the day, as far as accountability goes, it's really up to the client. Like, how much of it are you, how much change are you willing to put in work for?
Right, so it's an investment.
Exactly.
And in your opinion, what are the returns? What's the maximum return someone could get? Or what are your peak experiences as a wellness coach that you can share with us?
For myself, I think that knowing that I am able to help individuals live fulfilling lives, that's in and of itself an incentive. As far as specific situations or clients' success stories in the sense that I've had situations, and I think for me, it doesn't even have to be like a physical change. I think it's more so a spiritual, internal, or mental change. I've had clients where they were struggling, they weren't happy with where they were living, they weren't happy in the relationships that they were in, they weren't happy in the careers that they were in. And so, you know, empowering them to make the necessary changes to live healthy and fulfilling lives through taking care of themselves, mind, body, and spirit, have been the most rewarding. And I think that I've seen the most success out of those in somebody who's come to me and say, oh, hey, I've lost 10 pounds, but at the same time, I'm struggling with this relationship that I'm in, or this job that I have, and I hate where I live, et cetera, et cetera.
Right. So, what's the difference between Find Your Will Wellness and every other wellness coach that exists out there? What's your competitive advantage? What do you offer that other professionals like you in the field would do, won't do, don't do? What should make people invest in you and in your business?
I think for me, personal experience is one, education is two, and passion is three. As far as personal experience, again, I went through my own health and wellness journey where I wasn't happy with how I was living, who I was living with, and I just wasn't content. And so I made specific changes. I went on my own wellness journey. And so I have that personal experience because I understand the struggles and the obstacles that may come in the way. Education, I have a background in psychology and social work, working with people, understanding behavior, understanding what motivates behavior, understanding change. And I'm also certified in wellness coaching, which some coaches are not. And passion, I genuinely have a passion for helping people and helping people to understand that you can make a change in your life for the better. I think that people settle and people just live in whatever they're given and go day to day and are not satisfied at all, but are not making any changes towards that. And so I genuinely have a passion for spreading awareness and advocating for the fact that you really make your own life. You make your life, you make it what you want, and you can do whatever it is that you put your mind to, pretty much.
So how do you bridge that gap? How do you, I guess it's not convince people to do or think that way, but how do you influence people to believe that they can do exactly what they want to do, either personally, professionally, or any other way? What's your secret sauce?
My secret sauce is, I mentioned this, is understanding the stages of change in a sense, which from a professional standpoint we know as the trans-theoretical model, and understanding that there is actual stages to change. So for me, I pretty much meet my clients where they are. I'm not, pushy at all in a sense. I ensure that they understand where they are and kind of empowering some kind of psychoeducation, if you will, on where they are and how they need to get to where they want to be. Did that answer your question?
It did, but can you share some success stories? What are some of the toughest, I won't call them cases, but relationships that you've had? Where were they coming from? What was their mental state? How did you help them change? What changes did they make? Sort of the whole deal. If you could run us through sort of some things that helped you realize that you could be effective at what you're doing and that you are effective at what you're doing. So just paint the picture for us, if you will. You can use your personal experience if you'd like. It's up to you.
So aside from myself, a few clients or past clients come to mind, specifically clients who I've had that may be in a different age range as myself. A lot of times I'm working with people of all different backgrounds, different stages of life. And so sometimes I am meeting with individuals, or I'm consulting with clients or have clients who are struggling with kind of debilitating physical or medical conditions. And so for me, I think those have been the most challenging, but at the same time, they've been the most rewarding because, I mean, I had a client who had a lot of medical ailments, and to the point where he was told, hey, if you don't change your life, you may not be living much longer. And so just empowering him to live healthier, incorporate, a different diet or intake of food, physical activity, and I think more so giving him the empowerment to understand that he can make a change, that it doesn't have to be the way that it is right now. And he is, there are some obstacles that he still faced, but they're not as debilitating as they once were for him. He's still trying to push forward. He's still making, his nutritional meals daily, and he's still ensuring that even if he can't participate in some physical activity due to his medical conditions, he's still ensuring, he gets his steps in. So it's empowering him to move forward. And to understand that it's an obstacle, but it shouldn't stop you. And so those are the success stories that kind of stick out to me the most.
Okay. So in previous talks, you've mentioned mindfulness. You've mentioned meditation. You mentioned a lot of things that I'm curious about. So could you fill us in on the power of mindfulness, or if you do use it in your coaching methods, what your actual process is, and just explain the whole deal. What are you into? What do you do? What do you believe in? What are some things that have helped your clients additionally, and maybe supplementally, if that's a word? I think it is. But what are the other tools that you're using when you're roping it in or grouping it in with wellness coaching?
So aside from fitness guidance and nutritional guidance, I offer the mental health piece as a mental health professional. That's my background. Mindfulness or mindfulness-based stress reduction is something that I learned about when I was in graduate school, and it's something that I took a liking to, in a sense, and I started to practice it myself for my own benefits. So a part of a service that I provide to my clients is mindfulness meditation guidance. Mindfulness can help you reduce stress levels. It can help you reduce mental health symptoms, and it can make you more aware of yourself in general in life. For me, and for what I've seen within my clients, it has reduced anxiety significantly, and it has allowed my clients to understand different habits that they have, because they're more mindful, if you will, about them. So as a service that I provide is education on what mindfulness is, the basics of mindfulness. I point my clients to resources that they can utilize as basic everyday practice of mindfulness, meditation, or mindfulness practice. And I also incorporate videos, which are private YouTube videos that I link to my clients, where I coach them through practicing mindfulness, deep breathing techniques, and meditation.
So can anyone access these videos, or do you have to be a member to your site? How can people take a look at what you're doing?
So in order to access my videos, you'd have to purchase one of the wellness programs, which if you go to www.findyourwellwellness.com and you click wellness programs and products, the most recent program that I'm promoting now is the Fit Minded program, and through that you'll get fitness, nutritional, and mindfulness practice guidance via email, and you will get coaching through me via video chat, phone, email. I make myself available to all of my clients, and you'll also get some of my fitness and workout videos that I also give to clients.
So you keep mentioning the word clients, and I'm curious, who are your clients? What do they look like? What types of work do they do? Are they millennials? Are they Gen Xers? Who are they? Who's your client? What do they look like?
Again, I've had clients, male and female, from all walks of life, all different stages of life. If I were to give you an age range, I guess the youngest client I've had was maybe early college students. I actually had it's called the Well U program, Well University. The Well U program, which I hosted earlier this year to college students via online, and I gave college students tips on how to be healthy in college, because the freshman 15, or what is it, the freshman 25?
25.
I'm a victim of it. So the freshman 25 is real. And so I just gave tips on how to live healthier in college, or while going through school and juggling, extracurricular activities, councils, classes, work, family issues, all of it, you name it. I guess the oldest client I have, I can't even kind of give an actual age, but I would probably say maybe mid-60s. So, and again, it's male and female. I've had various clients who have joined some of my wellness programs that I host online, or challenges that I've hosted via Facebook.
Okay, so what are we looking forward to in the future? What are you preparing to do? What kind of workshops are you putting together? What kind of material are you putting together? Are you writing anything? What are you doing? What's the future look like for Find Your Will, and what can people look forward to?
So I'm currently working on 2 writing pieces, one of which is a wellness piece that essentially has all of the tips that I wish I didn't have to struggle to find during my own wellness journey. So I'm not sure if it's going to be in the ebook form right now, but I'm in the process of kind of compiling all of my tips that I have provided to clients and giving them out in a writing format, if you will. I'm also working on a book which someone has held me accountable to, so I will let the world know, which will be coming out hopefully by spring of 2017. And the book is on relationships as it pertains to mental health, and I think that connection is a big piece of life, and not that I have the greatest experience of it, but I don't consider myself a relationship guru, but I think that mental health ties into relationships in a big way, and I don't think that people really take heed to that, and so it's kind of like a breakdown of relationships, if you will. So I'm working on that. I have my Fit Minded program, which is online, and that will have a group launch sometime in early January. And my calendar, again, plug. You can order that online. And I'm also coordinating with a local fitness center there so that I can start to facilitate meditation and mindfulness workshops locally. I also reach out to local nonprofits where I go to speak different speaking engagements in South Jersey and locally in Philadelphia, and speak to high school students about various mental health topics, meditation, anger management, healthy relationships, etc. So I have a lot on my list of things that I have to do, or things that I've been doing that I'm going to continue to do. So I'm looking forward to 2017.
Okay. I think everyone's going to hold you accountable. But,
that's why I'm speaking it, so you all can be my accountability buddies.
But before that, let's say someone says, all right, I hear what you're saying. I hear the words wellness. I hear meditation. I hear mindfulness. What are some of the resources you can provide or lead people to, rather it be books, rather it be websites, whatever the case is, to not only inform them a little bit more, but also gear them for what you're preparing them to do if they were to enroll in any of your programs?
Specifically for mindfulness, I can give the resource. It's actually a very good app that I use. It's called Headspace. That's HEADSPACE, Headspace. Download the app and you have 10-minute easy guided basic mindfulness practices. So if you're looking into mindfulness, that's where I would, you're looking into the basics of it, that's where I would point my clients to go. I would also recommend anything written by Deepak Chopra. I am a huge fan of Deepak Chopra. I actually just met his daughter at the women's conference this year, and I was a bit, of a fan, and I got a picture with her, so I was hyped. But Malika Chopra, she's awesome. So read anything by Malika Chopra or Deepak Chopra. Deepak and Oprah also host a lot of what they call the quote meditation experience, and they're a 21-day meditation experience. So I would recommend that you go to that site and you sign up for one of their meditation experiences. And again, it's guided, easy. Maybe theirs is a little longer, maybe about 20 minutes. But it's definitely helpful as far as learning what mindfulness is, and also for self-development.
So it sounds like you've been through one of these experiences.
I've been through several.
Talk about your breakthroughs. What are some things people could expect? And I guess if you can compare their journey with yours and their journey with one of these experiences, what would be different? What are the outcomes? What are the expectations in either one?
I don't know if I can compare their experiences in a sense, because they're pretty much experts at this, if you will. And that's the thing that I want people to understand. You don't have to be an expert to sit and just be still with yourself. You don't have to, be an expert at clearing your mind, because that's not what meditation or mindfulness is, and I think that's a big misconception. Specifically speaking towards these meditations, they're very internally based, and like I said, for self-development. And so a lot of times there are breakthroughs. I mean, for me specifically, I had a breakthrough where I personally realized there was a certain way that I was looking at relationships that I was having with certain individuals in my life. And so I was like, oh, okay, like, this is where it comes from. It's stemming from here. And so it's just literally makes you more aware and more mindful to who you are. Not place blame on why you are the way that you are, and just kind of keep pushing forward, so that when you're in these experiences again in your life, you're more aware rather than more reactive. And so that's helpful with strengthening relationships, and that's helpful with understanding yourself and developing yourself.
Now you're speaking my language.
Did I answer the question?
You may have, but you caught me on development and the personal development piece and being aware of what you're giving off, when you're giving it off, and how you're giving it off. So, what are some things along your journey that you've learned about yourself that help you either identify or have some sort of empathy with the people you work with every day? What are some of the commonalities that you found between yourself and your clients?
Well, probably, I want to say maybe it's been about 5 years now. I started my wellness journey, and my wellness journey started at the FDR Park in South Philly, for those of you who have ever been. And I was chasing my nephews on a scooter, and I realized that I could not catch up. I realized that I didn't like the way my jeans were fitting me, and I realized that I was just uncomfortable in my own skin. And so for me, those are all things that my clients can kind of attest to, where it wasn't about how I looked. It wasn't about, and for some people it is, but it wasn't about how I looked. It was the fact that I was younger than I am now, 5 years ago, and I couldn't catch up with my nephews. And that to me was a problem. I wanted to be able to share certain experiences with them on a long-term basis, and at that rate, had I continued on the way that I was taking and treating was not going to happen. And so I decided to make a change. I tried almost every single diet, if you will. And it wasn't until I started doing kind of at-home fitness programs through Beachbody, which I also partner with. So if you're interested in any of the Beachbody products, such as Insanity, T25, and things like that, you could also contact me, and I can be a coach and help you through any of their programs. So for me, it's just understanding that it's not easy to make a change. It's not easy. The process isn't easy, and you will have obstacles. Obstacles can be, the environment that you're in, and people not understanding the change that you're trying to make. Whether it's physical, whether it's emotional. I always tell my clients, you have to literally detox your body from all things that are toxic. And that doesn't just mean, the cheesesteak that you're eating from South Street all the time. I'm physically, literally meaning the people that you surround yourself with. And there was a point in my time where I had those toxic people in my life who weren't supporting me. They were bringing me down right along with them. And so those are the experiences that I have and that I share, and that I think that kind of link me with my clients, because a lot of them have been through the same experiences or are currently in those experiences.
That makes a lot of sense. With your services, it seems like a few of these changes, if they are made correctly and promptly, they could affect people for the rest of their lives. What are some of the success stories that you've had years down the later? It doesn't have to be like 10 years. It can be 2-3 years. What's some of the progress or body changes, or I guess that would be physical changes that people have made and they've kept as a result of working with you and or the resources or products that you would refer to them?
So Find Your Will Wellness, just to give you a little bit of background, I started that in July of last summer. So that's when I started to really pick up my clientele. I can speak on behalf of a client that comes to mind right now who, while she's no longer receiving actual services from me, we're friends, and my clients, I believe that they're friends first, then clients, because I truly kind of, not in a sense enmesh myself in their lives, but I really try to, ensure that they're making a change for the better in all ways. So this specific client, she's doing amazing. Like, I'm so proud of her transformation. And her transformation isn't just a physical one. Not only has she lost weight, started to eat better, despite the fact that she has all of these food allergies, so she has to combat that as well with her nutritional intake. But she's furthermore ensuring that mentally she's well, and I think the biggest piece for her is that she has literally detoxed all of the negativity from her environment, not just what she's intaking. And so she's doing a whole lot better, and she's happier with where she's living. She's happier with her work environment. She's happier in her own skin. And I can even just I can even just see it when she posts online. It's almost as if I can see a soul cleanse, if you will. Sounds cliche, but I can literally see it through her eyes, through her smile, through everything. She's just a completely different person.
I hear that. I can relate to that. I guess I can relate to it in a way that when you change your environment, it allows you to change your way of thinking. It allows you to change the things that are influencing you day to day, and it allows you just to be more clear with yourself, free of, I guess, suggestions, free of just things that aren't true to you naturally. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times when we're stuck in these environments that continue to promote things that we don't necessarily identify with or believe or whatever the case is, we have a tendency to sort of take that in, whether we recognize it or not. We give it off, whether we mm-hmm. recognize it or not. So I can definitely see how that would relate to wellness in any way, whether it be mental or physical. And it makes a lot of sense in that way. And so I guess I have a question about that. What would your suggestion be to a person that's stuck, literally stuck in an environment that wasn't healthy for them? Maybe they can't afford to change it. Maybe they don't believe they can afford to change it. Maybe they're in a relationship that they don't think they could go without. There's tons of different ways you can look at it and think about it. What would your suggestion be to a person that feels they are literally stuck in an environment that they recognize isn't healthy for them?
I think that is a really good question. I think that while you may be able to be physically stuck in certain situations due to income, what have you, or maybe you're living with a relative you have to take care of and you're not necessarily happy about that. I think that you can be physically stuck in a sense, or environmentally stuck, but you don't have to be mentally stuck. And so I think a lot of what I encourage my clients to do is to the positive self-talk, which is an aspect that's used primarily in therapy as a mental health professional, is it's kind of in a sense cognitive behavioral therapy, if you will, but you're kind of literally changing the way that you think. So whenever you have a negative thing to say about anything around you, even yourself, we're so hard on ourselves, and I'm guilty of it. I think for me, I just try to tell my clients to reframe that in a positive manner.
So wait, could it be compared to hitting the reset button?
Yes, it is comparable to hitting the reset button, which you could read about in The Light Within Us All by Tyrone M. Robinson III. So yes,
Continue.
Is hitting the reset button, if you will, where you're reframing what you're thinking in a negative way and you're trying to find the positive of it all. I have these conversations all the time. I go on Facebook on Monday mornings and everyone's like, oh, Monday. Or I go into work on, Friday and I'm like, oh, I'm good. It's Friday. I'm happy. And it's like, you are literally training your brain to think this way. And so if you can train your brain to be all hype about Friday, then you can train your brain to be all hype about everything else in your life. No. Everything in life isn't always great. It's not always going to be great. But how you react to it and your awareness of how you react to it it all begins in your mind, and that's pretty much my slogan, that change truly begins in your mind. It doesn't begin in, the food that you put into your mouth. It doesn't begin in, the 10 push-ups that you do. If you're sitting there saying, I hate doing these push-ups, then you're not motivating yourself. And so positive self-talk is something that I encourage people to really try to make a habit into their lives. And I know it's a struggle. Again, I'm guilty of it. But you really have to try to think of things in an optimistic way rather than a pessimistic way.
Makes a lot of sense. Last thing I'm going to have you do before we get out of here, it is my birthday. And so,
Happy birthday!
Thank you.
Okay.
But I'm going to dedicate the last 9-8 minutes to a couple artists that have tuned in tonight. Kenny Riley, Yan Don. I'm going to play their music for the last few minutes that I have. So before we get out of here, how can people reach you? How can people just contact you about anything, rather it be resources, advice, whatever the case may be?
So as far as resources, you can email me at findyourwill@gmail.com. That's FINDYOURWILL@gmail. If you would like to be added to my resource list on my website, email me. I have resources on my website as it pertains to physical activity, fitness, nutrition, mindfulness, mental health, all of it. I'm trying to grow my resource page, so please email me if you want to be added to my resource page. My website is www.findyourwillwellness.com. I can be found on Twitter at findyourwill1, and Instagram at findyourwillwellness.com. You can find me on LinkedIn at Iris L. Mendez. Same on Facebook.
Don't tell me you done, let's try it again. Then you so numb, don't need to run, then you hiding again. Don't tell me you done, let's try it again. Then you so numb, don't need to run, then you hiding again.